Bally, let's talk about video games. The hot new release is out, Pokemon Sun and Moon. So, of course, I didn't buy it. Bally, you, of course, are taking the reins with this one.
Yeah, talking about Game of the Year and sort of games that came out this year that we've been playing, I picked up another one. I picked up Pokemon Sun. First time I've played a new Pokemon game since Pokemon Pearl, so I've just skipped 3 generations and jumping straight in.
I mean, to some extent, you had a level of exposure to 5th and 6th generation through my videos, although that's all battle stuff. That's nothing to do with the main story or anything along those lines. So, interested to hear your thoughts as you progress. I know you've not played too much so far.
Yeah, I'm only a couple of hours in, so these are some very quick thoughts. I did play Red earlier this year, and it looks very different from that game. So it really looks and feels like Pokemon. Some initial thoughts. I just think it looks nice, but it just doesn't look as good as you hope it might. The colors and things look incredibly flat. Added by the fact that this is in 2D. There's no 3D in this game, even though I own a new 3DS. Not the original 3DS, which is incredibly infuriating because I'm a big fan of the 3D. There's no ability to post to the Miiverse, so the combination of quite a flat art style, lack of 3D, inability to post Miiverse, it all just feels a bit like laziness. I don't know what it is. I mean, maybe the success...
I would maybe remind you that there are rumors circulating that this game is probably going to be on Nintendo's upcoming console, and so removing features such as Miiverse and such as the 3D would maybe make more sense in the context there, Bally. If they're creating an HD version for their upcoming new handheld hybrid home console thing, then maybe the reasons that people are giving for, hey, this game is chugging a lot, and the fact that it kind of doesn't distinctively feel that new is because they're making the better version already.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely what is happening, but it still doesn't it doesn't make the fact that this game has got issues any better. And they have sold this as a 3DS title. They've not mentioned officially anything Switch related yet.
I mean, of course they're not going to, because that would cannibalize the sales of their own products.
Exactly, but it is a bit frustrating and I just think Game Freak can be very lazy when it comes to that.
I don't like using the word lazy when it comes to game development, because I think it's a very assumptive assertion to make, given that games are incredibly fucking difficult to make, and it's a miracle that any of them come out.
Wrong word, but not keeping up with their competitors, let's say.
Sure. I mean, there are a lot of games out on 3DS that look fantastic, run in 3D, go at 60. Like, there are benchmarks to be hit. But I don't know. Do you think that if this game were in 3D, it would look substantially better? Because for me personally, I think that's a big issue. Is like, even games like Fire Emblem, which I think look amazing, if I turn the 3D off, it doesn't leap off the page. It just feels very, very different.
Yeah, the second that you do implement that 3D effect on the 3DS, especially with the new 3DS and the larger ones, the XLs, it looks incredibly deep at times. And in a sort of open world game like Pokemon is, where there's very big sort of vistas and scenes everywhere, it would benefit, RPGs in general benefit, I think, from having some sort of depth in them like that through the 3D and stuff. Like, you'd played Yokai Watch. I've not played it, but from what I've seen, it looks fantastic, and it's very frustrating that it does look like this. But I mean, there's nice things, like you can run diagonal now. Like, I've not played a Pokemon since you can run diagonal. That's great.
You can run literally anywhere now. I believe X and Y still limited you to 8 directions, I think.
Oh,
I can't
really?
Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure it did that. So this is actually, after 7 generations, now you can just use the circle pad and move around space.
But stuff like the menus, the maps, the ability to check all your stats in the Pokedex and all this, it feels incredibly streamlined. Like, it really does feel like, wow, all the only a couple of clicks away. When you're in battles now, it tells you which moves are super effective, which is quite nice because it saves.
Do you think you're going to find that helpful? Because I know you know a lot of these ins and outs.
I know the main ones.
Right.
I think it'll be helpful for some of the typings I'm not used to and the matchups I'm not used to. Definitely.
Yeah, totally.
So at the same time, it can maybe give away the typing of the enemy, but I don't know.
I think the way it works
now.
is you have to fight them once, and then after you've defeated them, then you know what all their weaknesses are. So, like, say you're going up against I don't know, I guess there's no gym leaders in this game, but like going up against a Pokemon that's very strong that you've never fought before, you're not going to know its weakness straight out the gate. You're going to have to work around it, and then maybe if you encounter it later, then you'll be able to deal with it. So it's a good compromise, I think, because it allows a lot of people, I think, feel scared of jumping into Pokemon because of all that matchup stuff that they have to memorize and have a chart for beforehand. It just reduces barrier to entry in a good way.
Yeah, definitely. And some other like initial cool things I thought, like this game has pretty awesome like fully animated cutscenes at points, which are like nice, and like it's an intriguing story so far considering it's Pokemon. Like
right.
I think the theming around the Alolan Islands is great so far. I think it's feeling like that sort of Orange Islands game that everyone wished for back in the day that never came.
I think that's interesting as well, because I believe the Orange Islands had this kind of 4-island structure, or at least you needed to get the 4 gym badges for that championship. So
I don't believe the leaders on those islands were called gym leaders either. I think they were called something else. But
okay,
it wasn't. In any case, even if they were called gym leaders, you didn't fight them in a traditional match.
Right.
And this game is playing on that a bit, which is nice. So I'm intrigued. I'm sort of looking out for who to get into my team. I'm wanting that Alolan Raichu. I think it looks so cool. So
that does look really great. No, I'll agree with you. I do think that my favorite designs of this new stuff tend to be the Alolan forms of the older stuff.
They look cool.
And I'm not sure if that's because those older generations had designs that were necessarily better, but they're more memorable, right? And I think like twisting them actually gives it a freshness that just brand new random new Pokemon doesn't have. Like, I've been playing a little bit on Showdown of just figuring out the competitive stuff, and a lot of these Pokemon just look like nothing. They just look like these weird amalgamations of, robotic stuff and just fish life, and I don't know. It just they don't jump out at me as having that much personality. But of course, that's me looking at a screen which doesn't have full animation and is not in the context of the game. So it's hard for me to really give a judgment.
I mean, in terms of a couple that I've already got, so I started with Rowlet. How could you not? Like, he's just
absolutely.
Great. So that's one really cool new design. I also got this other dude called like Picky Peck or Pick a Peck or something, and it I looked up like its evolutions and stats, and it evolves in, it's like the Pidgeot equivalent, and it evolves into this like big ass toucan, which looks quite cool. So I'm probably going to stick with those two. There's some like bug electric type that I can pick up that's pre-evolution for at the moment. I'm also going to go with and like I said, Raichu. Dragonite is in this game, so I'm very happy.
You've got to go for that, don't you?
I'm going to go for that. So
well, here's the thing, Bally. You already raised a big-ass Dragonite on Pokemon Red, and I think soon they're going to give you the ability to transfer that stuff into the game. Would you be interested in taking your team from Red, bringing them into the new game?
Yeah, that'd be really cool, actually.
Yeah.
I think, I was quite happy with his moveset, even though I can't remember what it is now. But, I just think it's more Pokemon, but it looks great. I think the polish is great. I think Pokemon, as much as I think that if I'd played everyone between now and this game, I would be burned out. But it's a bit like Animal Crossing. Like, just because you've missed out on it for a while doesn't mean that the formula is any weaker. Like, this is an incredible formula, and I've got so much more to play. Obviously, I'm only a couple hours in, so I'm going to talk about this game a lot more.
How much were you following the news cycle of Pokemon Sun and Moon? Because I know a lot of people were frustrated with the fact that Nintendo were publishing videos all the time, constantly. Here's a new Pokemon, watch this, see this. Did you insulate yourself from that? And as a result, do you think that it's been a fun time so far, just coming across a Pokemon you've never seen before and being surprised?
Yeah, like I am enjoying that sort of feeling of being surprised. I think I saw the initial trailer, which had very little in it, and then because, like you said, there were so many videos, I was like, I cannot be bothered to watch all these videos. I'm just gonna not through trying to hide myself massively, but also I just wasn't interested in hearing and seeing every little tidbit until the game comes out. So like, there's a lot of fresh stuff, and it's nice. So yeah, no, it's cool. I'm really glad to be like in Pokemon again and like playing it, and it's cool. And yeah, no, I've got so much more to say on this game. But I need to play it first. So
yeah, absolutely. We'll give you the time.
Those are my first thoughts.
If you enjoyed this discussion and would like to hear more, consider subscribing to us on YouTube and following the podcast playlist. You can also find us on iTunes and various other places. Follow us on Twitter at TNL Podcast and email us thisnintendolife@gmail.com. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.